Staff training. I just threw this in because I know some of you are going back to facilities where you're working with larger groups of staff. Just to give you a concept of what we do at CAN, in all of our programs, staff have parallel training opportunities. So when they join on with CAN, they get to spend a day with me. So they get some autism support ideas. The staff that we hire tend to have background in autism anyway, but they still get that. The other type of opportunity that we provide for them is sport-specific training. So we have been very, very lucky to have some support from some amazing groups in the community. So Basketball BC comes in and runs a coaching clinic for our basketball coaches. The assistant coach of the Canadian women's soccer team runs a coaching clinic for our soccer coaches. Robin, who's in the room today, works with BC Hockey. He has been at our hockey pilot mentoring our staff every day. So we try to really make sure that in any program we're doing, we're using the curriculum that represents kind of the standard of best practice for coaching in that program. So for example, in hockey, we use the Hockey Canada resources to help us guide our instructional ideas. In swimming, we have the head coach who's certified as a WSI, and they're responsible for ensuring that the kids are working on the right skills. So in my experience and in our experience at CAN, you have to marry those two things all the time. If you have support workers who are fantastic with autism but have no idea how to teach that skill, that's not really doing the kid many favors. If you have people who are really good at that sport but have no idea how to support a child with autism, that doesn't work super well either. In most of our staff teams, we're able to achieve a nice blend and balance. So maybe a few who are really strong in this area and strong in this area, and we bring them together and try to create that nice balance as a team. We're building this online resource library, and hopefully with the Row for Autism projects, we'll really be able to take it to a whole new level. We'll see what happens. And on the online resource library, these are some goofy videos that we've already created. That's not a video. So it contains both examples of how to teach skills. So the video I thought this was making snow. Someone mentioned earlier that their participant loves to make snow. So showing for staff who might be newer to teaching skating, this is what making snow is, and really walking them through what that skill is, why you would teach it, what the progression leads to. We also are looking at collecting video of all different games and activities so that one day, hopefully, when we launch a hockey program in Prince George, that the staff there could log in and see all different drills and activities that they could try, maybe with their own group. So we think that supplementing the live training that we're doing, both autism and sports specific, with some more, like a huge collection of online materials, will be an incredibly powerful way to kind of equip people to deliver the best possible programming. I think that it's nice to train your staff, but probably just as important, if not more important, to follow up with them. There's always questions that come up, so that need for ongoing support is huge. We find it very useful to bring our staff together from across facilities and locations as often as we can to allow them to share ideas and really, build a bigger resource together. Finally, this will be our last topic of the day, and then I'll just take a few more questions. Other resources you could check out after today. If you haven't already seen this, I highly, highly recommend that you check it out. So you can Google, there's the link there, but you can also Google Autism Speaks Fitness Checklist. It'll pop up. This is a resource that I use, and actually I have a committee of people that I have to answer to, and they come out and visit our programs and they evaluate our programs. And this is one of the resources that they use to evaluate how we're doing in our programs. It's fantastic. I think as a parent, taking this in, if you're observing a program, would really give you a nice overview idea of how successful a participant with autism would be. So there's just several items, like what happens with, are the learners on task most of the time? Is there limited downtime? Is the staff or support person able to use some sort of a motivation system? What happens to a disruptive learner? What happens to a learner who becomes disengaged? So really interesting questions to evaluate your own program or to evaluate a program maybe that you're watching. So that's awesome. It's much bigger than that. I just screenshotted one little section. There's also even just kind of helpful practical questions on it. Things like, Is there a family change room? So I know in our programs, we won't run a swim program at a facility where there isn't a family change room for I think, obvious reasons. But, you know, there are things you might not necessarily think of without the prompt. This is a very cool book for parents. Get out, explore, and have fun. You can buy it on Amazon. I'm not sure if ACT has it. We have it in our library. You can borrow it. I think it just provides parents, every chapter sort of looks at different types of community rec activities. And there's a lot of stories from parents who have tried putting their kids in these various activities, tips for parents. It's a really nice resource if you're at the point where you're trying to decide or maybe rethink about what types of activities you might like to try putting your child with autism into. Lots of great tips and stories. This book, I helped to write a chapter on learning supports. So many of the types of strategies that we talked about today are in that chapter. The rest of the chapters in the books feature specific sports. And actually the CAN soccer program is featured in the soccer chapter. So again, it's a really nice one if you're a parent and you're thinking about, I might like to put my kid into martial arts, like what could I look for in terms of a really great adapted martial arts program? Just getting ideas. It's a really fun one. I think it's quite all these resources are really affordable too. I think this one's like $15 and you can buy it on Amazon. ACT definitely has that one and we definitely have this one in our lending library as well. When I started doing some searching around, I found all kinds of great books. So I think these are more geared at the people actually running the recreation activities. We have these books at CAN. Definitely just great if you kind of broaden your search to look at physical education and autism or even inclusion and physical education. Lots of great ideas in these types of resources as well. There's that Tasks Galore resource that I mentioned earlier. So amazing ideas for use of visual cues. And visual cues for some kids, it's like the thing that makes them successful all of a sudden. So certainly worth exploring. We have these books at CAN if you want to borrow them. Definitely check them out. Resources, good, okay. Any questions about that? Yes. Oh, I need the microphone.
Can you think of a book in particular that has to do with competition?
No.
Okay, maybe no, that's how I'll make my million.
I wish. That's not to say that there isn't one. And that's not to say that I bet if you went on the internet and searched autism, social story, competition, or autism, social story, team sports, go and look, because I would be surprised if you didn't find something, at least to kind of help you get started with your social story that you want to try. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had a question. Oh, sorry.
Just stretching, Amy. Any other questions? Any other questions in general? Yes, got one up here. Right there. Did you have a question?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I just, you told us the social, what is it, app for the review. Did you say, what did you say the website for the review?
Video modeling?
Yeah.
So most of the videos we do are just super basic. Take the camera on your iPad, press record, film an example of someone performing the skill. There's a cool app called Telestrator, Telustrator. You can tell how visual I am. I cannot think of that without like picturing the letters in my head. That's the one where you can do things like circle, you can slow-mo, you can highlight different things. So that's a really good app if you're interested in, I wish I had endless time and resources because I would like to take some of the skills that we most commonly teach in our programs and do those augmented sort of better like examples with Telestrator. So a good one would be in skating, every session we teach the kids how to fall and get up. That's like one of the most common skills that we're teaching. So to be able to film that skill and not have it in real-time speed, but be able to slow it down, really circle like kind of the key part of each step. You can even put numbers in there. So you could put step 1, right? Get on one knee. So you could slow it right down. The kid could watch it. Okay, one knee, that looks like this. Highlight the knee. And then step 2, put your hands on your knee and push, right? And highlight the hands coming down, slow-mo. You know, like I think you can make really cool little videos of some of the key skills that we're showing over and over and over again. I wouldn't do that for every skill in every program. That would be way too overwhelming. But if you know, when I coach basketball, I'm constantly coaching this. That would be a great short video to kind of add a little bit more to really highlight some of the key things for the kids to focus on. So that's what I would do if I had a student who wanted to volunteer and do that. Maybe one day. Other questions? You're so knowledgeable now.
Okay.
I'm so happy to have been here and spent however many hours talking about my special interests with you today. I was very happy to make some awesome connections with people who I hope will follow up with me in terms of things we talked about. And thank you for being an awesome audience, so engaged and easy to talk to.